Welcome back to the Deep Big Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, my other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts.
Yep, we're talking the heartbreaking loss for Lamar Jackson, big win for the potential MVP and Josh Allen. It was a great game. It had all the drama. Mark Andrews getting catching all the heat today, and maybe deservedly so. A couple bad plays for him on his part. But what was kind of the main takeaway for you in this game? Big
Yeah,
picture.
I really wish this would have been in the AFC Championship. I think that would be the only thing that would have made this a better game as far as the meaning to it. But I mean, we had the storylines coming in. This was the battle for the MVP. I think realistically now it's signed, sealed, delivered. It is Josh Allen who is going to be the MVP moving forward. I think that this is the team that is going to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs. I said it before. I don't think this Kansas City Chiefs team is that good. They've been helped by the refs multiple times. I think that this is just the way it's going to be. And it would have been that way for either one of these guys, Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. Whoever won this game was going to take that spot in the AFC. I think that's my take moving forward. I think that that team is going to win this AFC championship and be represented in the Super Bowl. It was a good game, man. I mean, if you love football, you love this game.
Yeah, the only downside to this game for me was we got robbed of overtime. Like we
Mm,
got robbed of being an overtime showdown between Lamar and Josh Allen. I didn't want the game to end. And like my thing too is like Lamar, I've been defending him going into this playoffs. I can't defend him. Like he did shrink in the biggest moment through a bad interception. And I know people were trying to defend him, be like, well, you see Bateman there won the route, and
it was
that's what was
ass.
gonna happen. But then he broke. It's like, yeah, but the safety was still gonna be there regardless. Like it was still a bad throw. And then trying to, make something happen while he's getting sacked and dropping the ball. Like he was not great today. And Derrick Henry got bottled up in the first half and he was getting loose in the second. And I felt like they should have just rode Derrick Henry like all the way, pause, to overtime. Like, why not line it up, Derrick Henry, our biggest guy against all of your guys? Like, I don't think the Bills could stop that.
Yeah, I texted you during that game, like second half, not even just Derrick Henry. The second half Baltimore Ravens run game is nasty. It is insane because you can only take so many body shots from these guys. And you have Lamar Jackson who's coming in with the like lightning. You have Derrick Henry coming in with the thunder. You still have Justice Hill, like these guys that come in and rotate for him, and they all look good in that second half. Once this Buffalo Bills team has kind of wear down a little bit, the adrenaline's run off. Now you're a little bit cold. You come in and you're just getting smashed by this guy. You don't want that. And I get a lot of John Gruden content now. And John Gruden was like, okay, like if we're gonna, shit on Pete Carroll for the throwing it when he has Marshawn Lynch back there on the goal line in the Super Bowl, why are we not going to shit on Harbaugh for not running with Derrick Henry when you're on the 2 yard line? It's the same scenario. Like I get that Mark Andrews dropped the ball, but we should just be giving it to Derrick Henry on the goal line for the 2 point conversion. Why are we not doing that? He's been effective the entire second half. Let's just do that.
Yeah, there's something about NFL coaches that in that 2 point conversion, you just don't want to take it out of your quarterback's hand because you have then the two options of like him running it or throwing it. And I get it, like let's get on the edge, Lamar speed, but at the end of the day, like you would think a guy like Harbaugh too would be like, if this is Jim Harbaugh, he's lining up I formation. I'm gonna run this down your throat right now, and there's nothing you could do about it. And like even Josh Allen, like if this was Josh Allen doing this, he's running that tush push or he's running a QB power and he's getting that 2 point conversion. So yeah, I guess the call worked. At the end of the day, it was there. But bad weather game. Andrews already had a ugly fumble. That
Yeah.
what is he doing? Thinking that he is Tyreek Hill jumping backwards to try to get more yards, and then getting the ball punch. If he just goes forward and falls down, he gets another 5 yards. This is a completely different game we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's like one thing, like how you said, oh, it ended up being the right call. It wasn't the right call. I mean, realistically, you had a guy that fumbled not too long. Like it was very clear that that was in his mind, and he didn't want to fuck up again, and he just couldn't make the pass. Like he couldn't complete the catch, and you just don't put him in that spot again. I understand this is a vet, and it's someone that you've been with, and you understand like you want to redeem him. You have Derrick Henry, dude. We're on the 2-yard line. It's a 2-point conversion to push it to overtime. Maybe we give him that spot again in overtime to show him. But like, why are we going to play with this? Let's just run it down their throat. We've been effective the entire second half. I mean, realistically, when they came out the second half, the Bills just had no answers. They like that their whole third quarter, it was all Ravens. I just feel like you should have just kept things going on that tip, but whatever.
And here's kind of my take too is like Isaiah Likely's been really good. Why not?
Yes.
Why not Isaiah Likely in that spot? Like he's so sure-handed, and I want to say like he's probably surpassed Mark Andrews at this point. Like as a receiving tight end, he's damn near a receiver out there. He's that good. So like he's faster, pretty sure-handed. Why not put him in that spot? But I get it. You're like, we're comfortable with Andrews. This is our guy. Let's do this. It's just, man, it sucks for Lamar because now the narrative, it's going to be, I think people are going to forget about Mark Andrews after a few weeks. And it's going to go back to Lamar being like, well, he still can't do it in the biggest moments. And people are already clowning him on Twitter, all this stuff. But what I think is more damning is how frustrated Lamar is about it. And it's not that just like he's frustrated that he lost. He's frustrated that this is the narrative over and over again that he can't get out of his own mind. And I don't know if he's not going to get past it until he wins the Super Bowl. And like
Yeah.
that's going to eat away at him, and it's going to make him play worse in these big moments every season because it's just going to keep growing. It's just going to keep, being on his back, on his shoulders, heavier and heavier.
Yeah, and I mean every time like something happens in the playoffs, they cut to the side reporter like when he threw that pick, cut to Tracy Wolfson. Tracy, tell us about Lamar and how he feels about not being able to handle the playoffs. And it's like, yeah, Lamar was saying that like actually it does affect him. Like it's something that he thinks about and he's ready to grow and overcome that. And so it's like, you're right. It is always a conversation around him. It is something that is going to grow until he gets that off of his back. And it does suck because I thought that, he got a lot better as that game went on. But people are not going to remember that. You're right. People are not going to remember that Mark Andrews blew that game for him with a fumble and then dropping the 2-point conversion. They're going to remember, hey, it's another loss on Lamar Jackson's record, which is bullshit.
And I mean, he did have the turnovers. Like, I'm not saying that he can't be upset that they lost. There's a difference in quarterbacks that are like, oh, listen, it sucks we lost. We're devastated, but like we're gonna get back. We're gonna get back in the lab and we're gonna regroup and we're gonna do this. But it's gonna sting for a while. Lamar's reaction was, I'm tired of this. Like I am sick of us getting here in this moment and the same shit happening. And that's a bad mindset to have. Like that's him putting all these years of losses like in the playoffs in one bundle and keeping it going. Like he's keeping the narrative alive just as much as us.
But also, I mean, I'm sure it is tiring for him. I'm sure he is like, what the fuck are we doing here, dude? Like, I continuously have no wide receivers for some reason. Like, they give me these small, fast guys when I really want just a big body receiver that can, like, actually play to my game. Like, I'm sure it's frustrating, but at the same time, like, they did load you up. They got you Derrick Henry on this. And it was, I feel like they should have just kept going more read option on this. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, one thing that I will say, like Josh Allen has been honestly a very good sport throughout the entire season. And then he showed it again, immediately going up to Lamar afterwards, and even in his like the on the field, like after the game, like not press conference but interview, um he said like, hey, I want to give it up to him. Like, I knew it was going to be one of us that was going to be like disappointed, but I mean, Lamar Jackson is an all-time great. Like, he is up there, and I got the better of him today, but I'm sure he's gonna get me like some other time. And like, yeah, I thought that was good. I mean, kudos to Josh Allen and his team and the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they performed really well, dude. I mean, it's a pretty scary team.
Oh yeah, their offense looks amazing, and the defense is stepping up with Matt Milano leading the way. And I will say this, like, I think it really does hurt Lamar when Zay Flowers is not out there because it is their best guy. But Josh Allen doesn't have a number one guy, and this is two teams with a random collection of random receivers.
Mhm,
And Josh Allen's guys have just performed better than the Ravens guys. Like
mhm.
Curtis Samuel's out there making plays out of, like, when the fuck did Curtis Samuel become a guy that is contributing to a playoff team? Like, who would have ever put money on that when he was like fading away in Carolina? And then you like Shakir, he's looking really good for them. There's like just a bunch of guys that are contributing, and it kind of feels like how the Eagles have bought in with Saquon, where like the Bills have fully bought in on Josh Allen taking them to the promised land, and they don't care about stats. They're all playing their role, and they know their role.
Yeah, I mean, they have played above their weight class as far as the receiving core, the tight ends. I mean, they have two really good tight ends. I think they Again, I don't love QB power, but I mean, it worked for a couple of touchdowns for Josh Allen. I would much rather hand it to James Cook, but I think that just gets the team going. I think you're right. I think they feed off of Josh Allen's energy. And once he gets a couple of touches and he's like, all right, yeah, cool. Nobody's stopping me today. They're like, all right, cool. No one's stopping us. Let's keep it rolling.
And Ray Davis for them. Like their running back stable right now is nasty. James Cook, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson is like he's solid for. There's like 4 or 5 plays a game where you're like, damn, Ty Johnson really ran really good, really well on that play. And like that's just what this Bill team did. There's 3 or 4 plays for each guy on the offense where you're like, damn, like that guy is contributing and he's looking really good for them. They should use him more, and they don't. But because they have so many guys who they're like randomly working in, and it just flows. It's just complete team football, but led by a complete leader in Josh Allen.
Yeah. And I think moving forward, I think that this team is going to, I don't want to say steamroll the Chiefs, but I think that they are. I mean, realistically, I think they win by a pretty hefty margin.
It would have to be for the Chiefs to win this game. I think it'd be Bills coming in and just getting stuck in that mindset of, oh shit, like, can we beat this team? Things aren't going our way in this moment, and it just snowballs on them because the Chiefs, if it's in a close game, they are not going to unravel. They're going to thrive in those moments. And we saw the Bills thrive in those moments in this past game, but against the Chiefs, that's a whole different story. You got, the 12th man and the stripes against you in that game.
That's
So
true.
you got to be perfect. This has to
Yeah,
be a blowout for the Bills. It has to be a blowout.
I think this Bills team can do it. I mean, realistically, they have the guys on the defensive side of the ball. They're rolling on offense. I think they can make it.
Yeah, and I think with this defense, they got a shot. Milano, spying Mahomes, playing near the line of scrimmage. Damar Hamlin making some plays. Like, I think he got kind of shit on when he came back from the crazy injury, because he wasn't that good when he first came back. He was like barely playing, but he's really worked his way into being a solid starter in the NFL, and he is down to put his face in there and make a couple big plays a game.
Yeah, his clone is really good. No, I
Uh,
mean, we'll talk more about the Chiefs Bills So just stay tuned to that. But I mean, just to focus, to kind of put my last thoughts on this, you want to give the Ravens more credit for what they've done, but at the same time, you didn't make it past the second round. You know what I mean? And it's like all this kind of is what we kind of called it even at the beginning of the season. I need to see it deep in the playoffs, and they just haven't done it.
Yeah, I'll say this to the Ravens front office, which like every team who is desperate for wide receiver, like the Patriots, like a bunch of teams desperately need another receiver. T. Higgins is sitting out there, big body guy. He can do it all. I think he's waiting to be a number one. Like he is so good, and he's gonna get a bag. Why don't you just steal him from the Bengals and pay him,
Yeah,
and then you get your guy? Like that's a perfect fit to me for Lamar.
100%. I think I'll have to like kind of go back to something we'll discuss in the offseason as far as like who else, but T. Higgins it would be a really good fit. That'd be someone that is an actual wide receiver one.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. It's like get another receiver. The defense was there this year, I thought, and
Yeah, it was
they
good.
couldn't stop Josh Allen at the end. Second half, they played way better. Second
Oh,
half
dude,
defense played way better. But first half,
they
they were getting
made the
steamrolled.
Bills look like they forgot how to play football for the entire third quarter.
Yeah, it was really the turnovers that did it for the Ravens, and that's what sucks. I would have loved to see Lamar in a Super Bowl, but we're gonna have to see the Haley Steinfeld versus Taylor Swift showdown next week,
One for the ages.
and Rizzler.
Yep.
All right,
So be sure to hit that
that's
like button. Be sure to subscribe and drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts. Later.
Peace. Welcome back to the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, my other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. We got some coaching news out of left field. But before we get into that, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and drop some comments below.